Kempire is brought to you by.
We just had another successful Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live experience in Atlanta, and we are headed to Washington, D.C. on August 22nd. Every single show is so uniquely different. Ask anyone that's been to the Philly show or the Atlanta show or the next Washington, D.C. show. Get your tickets today for our night of hot topics, tea being spilled, me and you, and for so much more. More information will be available in the description on our next show date, which will be coming up August 22nd. And then our last summer tour date will be here in New York City on September 12th at the Green Room 42. That show not only will have a meet and greet available, will also have a live stream option. So no matter where you are in the world, you will be able to be a part of the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live show in New York City on September 12th. More information on both shows will be available in the description. I'll see you all very soon.
You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County. As you know, it is a double header today because we also will be recapping the Real Housewives of Miami later on this afternoon. So make sure that you are subscribed and that your notifications are on. This recap is pre-recorded because brother is busy. But I think next week what we will be doing is recapping both Orange County and Real Housewives of Miami together while Miami is still happening. It's a Friday. I don't need to be jam-packing if it was, because we've done this before, like on Mondays where we're recapping Real Housewives of Atlanta or Potomac and then maybe Married to Medicine. I just don't think Orange County right now is worth us doing a separate recap. I'm only doing it today because I have the time and I'm pre-recording it. Maybe if I have the time in these next couple of weeks, I'll keep doing it separate because I know some of you just want to watch Real Housewives of Orange County, or maybe you just want to watch Real Housewives of Miami. We will add timestamps in the future if I remember. One man show. Speaking of a one-man show, don't forget the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to Washington, D.C. literally a week from today. So if you haven't gotten your tickets already, I don't know what you're doing, D.C. I know what you're doing, D.C. Well, not you. So go get your tickets today. Meet and greet tickets are available as well. Taria Faison will be our host for the evening. I have a lot of things to spill, especially this particular thing that I'm going to spill in Washington, D.C. exclusively. But don't forget New York City. I'll tell you too on September 12th when we have our last show of the summer at the Green Room 42. Meet and greets are available for that show as well. But especially this show, this is the only show of the tour that will be live streamed worldwide. So no matter where you are, right, Foxy, all the way in Sweden, Foxy, you've gotten all the tickets for our live streams for New York City. So shout out to you, Mama Ali. Shout out to all of our mods. We appreciate them so much. So show them some love in the live chat and in the comment section as well. But if you are in Africa, if you are in Australia, if you are in Qatar, because we have people that watch there too. If you're in Saudi Arabia, you will have an opportunity to watch our live stream as well. Ticket information on the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era. Only 2 more dates for the summer tour is available right now, so go get your tickets today. All right, and shout out to all of you that have come out to our Philly show, our Atlanta show. We had a really good time, and I'm excited. Maybe later on this year, definitely next year, we'll do some more shows, but get in where you can get in, guys. I'm just saying. All right. Real Housewives of Orange County, guys, if you had to rate this week's episode from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Oop, and there goes my desk moving. Sorry. Look, keep my fourth wall in. I pressed this by accident. Let me take a sip because I almost lost my legs. There's supposed to be like a thing that's supposed to stop, but I don't know. Anyway. So Real Housewives of Orange County, guys, how would you rate it from 1 to 10? This week's episode, because they're away, I'll give it like it was decent. It's not my favorite. And I'm not saying that the season's that bad. Yesterday we did talk about, for those, because I know for some reason, for those of you that always say you watch everything that I post, a lot of y'all were like, oh, did you talk about this? I'm like, yeah, I talked about it in this particular recap. Yesterday, we did talk about the Housewives of Salt Lake City. So if you haven't checked out our opinions and reviews of the trailer, be sure to check that out. I didn't do a short form review of it just because, again, it's a trailer. This is where I talked about it, okay? It looks juicy. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City continues to be a one to watch. So let's hope the season is as good as the trailer was, okay? So Real Housewives of Orange County, if I had to rate this week's episode, I'm going to give it a 6. I was going to give it somewhere like a 7, but I was like, I don't think it deserves a 7, even though we're in New Orleans. And I've always wanted to go to New Orleans. I just have not gone yet. And I know a lot of you want me to come and do a show down there. I don't know if we have that many. See, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if we have that many people that watch in New Orleans. I know we have people that watch in New Orleans, but do we have a couple of hundred people to fill a venue? I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe I should go and do some groundwork and go visit New Orleans. I will. I definitely want to go do New Orleans. But right now, my next trip is going to be international. I can't. I've been doing a lot of the domestic travel for the tour. My next trip at the airport has to be taking me out the country, at least for a period of time. And then maybe somewhere in between, I'll do some domestic. All right. I go on tangents. It's okay. It's all related though, because we're talking about this cast trip that's in New Orleans. All right. So of course they're in New Orleans. Here's the thing. Tamara. So you remember when Tamara quit the show. So this is the episode covering. I completely forgot. For some reason, I thought it was when they traveled abroad. But no, this was early on in the season where Tamara quit the show, went on social media, and was like, I'm out. So we're seeing the buildup to what led to this. I have thoughts, but we won't go there yet. Okay. Tamara, at the top of this episode, Tamara ends up having a conversation, and I'm not using notes today, guys. Bear with me. I have a lot going on. Tamara and Shannon seem to be not necessarily in a better place, but it seems as if Shannon's more willing to have a conversation with Tamara and at least be cordial. But at the top of this episode, we see that Katie and Shannon get into it because Shannon's like, I'm not going to be hanging out with her. She did something illegal to me. But let me tell you something. That Gretchen, because I told you I don't know how I feel about Gretchen. I don't know the history with Gretchen. This is the only city, I keep giving you this disclaimer. This is the only city that I haven't watched chapter and verse. And for those of you who say, Kempire, you should go back and watch. Do you have the time? Y'all see what I do? Y'all see what all the story? I don't just talk Housewives. If I just talked Housewives, look, the villain era is coming out. Sorry. But y'all do realize I don't just talk Housewives. We talk about pop culture. I was covering Wendy Williams. I have Diddy that I've been covering this week. I don't have time to be sitting here all day watching Real Housewives of Orange County. Okay, maybe on the tour. Maybe when I'm in a hotel room and I'll catch up that way. But now I'm watching The Gilded Age, so no. Woosa. Because I could already tell, because some of y'all in the comment section be like, Kempire, you should watch season da-da-da-da. And based off of this episode, they do bring up what you guys already gave me. You guys gave me the Cliff Notes. I already knew about what happened with Tamara and Gretchen from whatever season that was when, White Girl Wasted. What was it called? I don't remember. You guys will remind me in the comments or in the live chat. But I already knew about that because you guys give me the Cliff Notes, and I appreciate you giving me the Cliff Notes. I need them right now. Okay? Thanks. All right. Back to this, though. So Shannon is just like, oh, I didn't forget, though. Elephant Brain's working. Shannon refuses to hang out with Katie. She says what Katie did record. And what Katie did recording her without her knowledge was a little shady, a little suspect. But Tamara has done worse to you. People on this show have done worse to you. Your ex did worse to you. So the way that she is just so mad at Katie is giving forced. Is giving, I need a storyline. It's giving, I need to be mad at someone. This is why someone called in the other day here when we were recapping Real Housewives of Orange County and said Shannon needed a break after her DUI. But you know what I loved about Gretchen in this episode? Gretchen, when Shannon brought up the fact that when they were mentioning what Katie said about Shannon not wanting to be around her because she did something illegal, And Shannon was like, she did do something illegal. Gretchen was like, you did too. Your DUI. And I said, Gretchen, you're right. It's the hypocrisy. If anything, what you did that was even more egregious, and you would get more time technically. Okay? Yes, recording you without your knowledge, illegal. Are you going to press charges? No, you're not. But recording someone without their knowledge, I don't know if you could do jail time in California for it. But girl, for a DUI, you could. You're lucky you didn't because it was your first offense. But when Gretchen brought it up, did anyone else go like, oh, yes, she's right. She's right. And it's the hypocrisy. This is why Gretchen so far is good, because she's not really falling in line with the other women, even though she knows the other women. It did feel like Gretchen was at least open because she's religious. She's open to forgiving Tamara. But then she still has to remind herself, like, I've been here before with Tamara. And we all have been here before with Tamara. Tamara, every other season, is talking about turning over a new leaf. This is the same season where she's saying, I'm turning over a new leaf. But she keeps holding on to this information and dropping bombs. Like the bomb she dropped in this episode that Katie said, I guess she was trying to say this to other bloggers, that Gretchen told her that Tamara roofied her how many seasons ago? Well, a lot of you pointed out what happened in that season, and you said that's where you all kind of looked at Tamara like, no, this woman is unhinged. She is problematic. So what Tamara did back then maybe wasn't a roofie necessarily, like an actual roofie, but it wasn't cool either. It was illegal, dare I say. So everyone's all up in arms about Katie possibly saying it was a roofie and that she had heard this from Gretchen. And Gretchen was completely shocked. She's like, I did not come back on the show for this. She didn't say show, but the energy, a lot of times how they're reacting has nothing to do with what they're saying. It has to do with the show. And I'm sure she's sort of like, I did not come back for this. Now people are spreading false rumors. So in the moment when Tamara brings this up, drops the bomb, because it seems like Tamara is so conniving. That's what it is. Tamara is so conniving. She is never to be trusted. She will pull you in and act like, I've changed. I miss our friendship. Woo, woo, woo. That's what she was doing with Shannon. And Shannon's falling for it. And Gretchen seems to be falling for it. And that's where she drops this bomb that this is what Katie said. And then they bring up Kiki Monique yet again. Kiki Monique is now responding. Because remember, I had to ask, like, did Kiki respond? Well, apparently, Katie Ginella. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to even tell you guys this. Because, I was looking for, this is how I often, because I don't follow a lot of these housewives. There are a handful of housewives that I end up following. And usually I end up following them when they're no longer on Real Housewives. Because when they're on the show, it becomes like, is this a transactional interaction or friendship? Not friendship, because I don't call people friend that easy. Just saying. But I found out because I was trying to do the thumbnail after watching the episode, and I'm saying, oh, I need a good picture of Katie. Why did I find out that Katie blocked me? Katie, girl, this is your second season. I mean, she probably has seen my videos. I don't know when she decided to block me because, again, I don't follow her. I haven't gone to her Instagram account in I don't know how long. I think I've been to her Instagram account maybe last season, definitely not this season until now. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, she blocked me? Girl. I just find that so funny because here's the thing. When I talk about these housewives, and maybe people tag them in my posts or whatever, but I haven't even done any short form content on Katie Ginella when it comes to the Real Housewives of Orange County. Usually that's how they find out. It's like when I do my short form videos. But maybe the YouTube streets have been talking. I covered the story how she was a Karen. Yes, and I put the Karen wig on her, but that was from last season. Maybe that's when she blocked me. I don't care, Katie. I just know you're watching because you're friends with all the bloggers. You're watching all the blogs. Katie is not who she claims to be. And I know some of you just hate these other women on the show, but I've kept my good eye on Katie since last season. A lot of what was coming out, and I didn't even talk about the custody situation. I don't know. I saw that Heather Dubrow was denying. Gina claimed on Watch What Happens Live that Heather Dubrow dug up that information about the custody stuff. I didn't even know about that stuff. Heather is denying that, but that wasn't something that I saw on these internet streets. Maybe it was on Reddit, but I do believe someone dug that up for the reunion. Would I blame Heather for doing that? No. Is it a little terrible to kind of do because it's hurtful information? But some might say what Katie did was hurtful information, talking about her marriage and bringing up the paparazzi stuff. Katie, you will always be whacked for that. It was so stupid to even come in the way that you did. But when people show you who they are the first time, believe them. When people show you who they are the first time, believe them, because that is an indication of her character. She was lame then. She's lame now. She's sitting around acting, and even her own friend Jenn is sort of like, I don't think in Katie's mind she sees these people as bloggers because she's like, they're my friends. No, she knows that they're bloggers. She's playing stupid. But I get it. So many of you hate Gina, Emily, Heather, Tamara, whatever. I can see all of it. You know, I'm not a huge fan of a lot of these women, but I can see what's in front of me. This is why I don't get caught up in fandom of any of these people, because I can see, oh, I like you for this moment, but then I don't like when you do this. I don't necessarily like a gang up, but Katie is not innocent. And what stood out to me was that road rage situation. When we dug into that road rage situation, Katie has a pattern of lying. But here's the thing. We know a lot of these housewives have a pattern of lying. But Katie's lying, based on what I've seen so far, when we talk about that road rage situation, is dangerous. Dangerous, because she was trying to paint a narrative like this man was attacking her, like, oh, Karen behavior. Behavior like that is dangerous. But again, I was like, fine, I'll come in this season with an open heart. We found countless times where Katie has been insincere, inauthentic, and lying. Some might say, well, we could say the same of Tamara. Tamara's behavior is dangerous too, but there's something dark. There's something dark about Katie, Ginella. And that's why she blocked me. My spirit guides, my angels, my guardian angels blocked you. You notice the housewives that have me blocked? At least the two that I know. I don't know. There could be others. The two are the ones that lie because they're not ready for the truth to face them, and they see that I see right through them. Right, Portia? Peach Juice Williams? But I know they're still watching. Katie is dangerous. And honestly, I wouldn't mind not seeing her come back next season. I know I said in a tweet, because I was trying to call Gina's bluff. Gina was like, I don't know if Katie comes back. I don't know if I could, I don't know if I would. I have to really reconsider coming back. And I was like, bravo, bring Katie back. But now, Katie, there's something very sinister about her. And I know a lot of you are like, oh, she's beautiful. A lot of y'all let people get away with stuff because you think they're beautiful. No. There's something very sinister about her. And mind you, a lot of the things that Katie's been accused of has not been sort of like, oh, no, you guys are just making that up so people would hate Katie. No. Remember the whole recording of Shannon? She denied that. She was like, no, I didn't record you. Only for her to be like, oh, well, I did. There's so many lies. And I know what you're going to say. So many of these housewives lie all the time. But her lies, very much like how we were comparing the Portia lies versus Drew lies and things like that, or the Mia lies. Mia lies about very dangerous things. Drew doesn't necessarily lie about dangerous things. There's something about Katie. Okay, I said all that to say, just when I thought I had nothing to say about Real Housewives of Orange County. Kiki Monique is speaking out. But first, let me play you a clip why Kiki is speaking out. Because on virtual reality, Page 6's reality show, they were talking about her speaking to bloggers. Take a listen to what she said.
Now, I know, poor Kiki.
She loves it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, Kiki
Wait, let me rewind.
does love it. Oh, Kiki.
Yeah.
Poor Kiki. the Shannon Tamara situations with the Kiki Monique of it all, and then the Shannon recording situation.
in the mix now.
I know, poor Kiki.
She loves it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Kiki Monique.
So that was a shady comment from Katie. She was like, she loves it, meaning Kiki loves it.
does love it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait. What is the deal with Kiki Monique? Because I feel that we will see more of this play out on the show, obviously.
Yeah, I can't really talk about it. I'll just say that looking back, shouldn't have trusted so many people. I made a lot of rookie mistakes, I know, with trusting a lot of people. But I was trying to let them get to know me because I felt like last season you didn't get to know me.
Right.
You got to see snippets of my life, but not really know who I was. Yeah. And then at the reunion, you got to see a lot of who I was in a very negative way. So I thought, well, if you are doing social media content, if you are writing something, if you have a podcast, if you know who I am, then you'll get it, you know? Yeah. Right. So I was overly kind to people that I shouldn't have been.
Okay.
She was overly kind to people that she shouldn't have been. Bloggers.
Okay, so you're kind of just like building what you thought was a more sincere friendship just for it to...
For some of them. And a couple of these bloggers, as they call them, are friends of friends. Oh, yeah. So I trusted them, and those are still good.
I don't believe that either. She's saying that a lot of these bloggers are friends of friends. Who are these friends? Who? Name them.
Ones. Right. But I trusted them because I thought I could, you know.
And I feel like you probably were like, well, how does Tamara know that we were talking? You're like, oh, so then Kiki and Tamara had a conversation about
I'm assuming, yes. I'm assuming.
Because that gets brought up during the lunch you had with Heather and Gina. And Heather said something very interesting in that lunch where she was like, you know, Katie, I always want you to win. Do you think Heather always wants you to win?
No.
Because when I saw that, I said to Evan, I was like, why do I feel Heather's only wanted Katie to lose?
Always wants me to lose, but...
All right, so let me play for you what Kiki said on Radio Andy, because you know Kiki has a show with Dorinda Medley on Radio Andy. So this was Kiki's response. Hold on.
Other people, and that was the part that then sent me the whole trusted people I shouldn't, because I just want to, I want to let you know, because again, I have screenshots and I'll pull them out later, but let me just say, when anyone is announced as a new housewife.
And sidebar, the Kiki Monique that I know is not one that's getting in fights with housewives on social media. So the fact that she's clapping back says a lot.
I go and follow the new housewife because I'm like, oh, who are they following? So when Katie Ginella, who I had never heard of before she was announced as a housewife, I went and said, looked her up, followed her. It said, follow back. So that meant she was already following me. So all I'm saying is you followed me before I followed you. Just saying. And then I get a message, I am honored. So all I'm saying is you were a fan of mine before I was supposedly a fan of yours that was looking for clout. And here's the other thing, Dorinda. She's making it seem as if I'm doing this because I need the clout. And like, I'm just going to say, Dorinda, I host a show with one of the most iconic housewives in fucking history, okay? That if I wanted to have clout, trust me, I'm going to use other people than Katie Ginella from second season OC. And that's all I'm going to say about for now.
And let me just say this. First of all, news travels fast. I always say it. Second of all, I don't think she's coming back next year, so who cares? Like one of those things, you know, we've already
And it makes me wonder why Dorinda said that, because a lot of these housewives know stuff. A lot of these other housewives speak with producers, speak with Andy. Not saying that Andy said anything. Andy's probably pretty good about not revealing this stuff to the housewives. But these housewives talk to each other, and based on Katie not going on the big cash trip, the only one, that says a lot too. I wonder if Katie will even come to the reunion.
decided not to use that hamburger meat anymore. Goodbye. It's been in the freezer too long.
Goodbye.
Okay. All right. So that is the latest tea in regards to Katie versus Kiki Monique on social media. All right. Back to this episode, though. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Don't forget to also subscribe to the Kempire podcast. You can hear audio versions and extended versions of our live recaps here on YouTube, our Diddy trial updates. Some of you still want to know what played out during that. You can hear all of that on the Kempire podcast. When you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And as always, don't forget the Kempire After Dark, a live experience is coming to Washington, D.C. next Friday, August 22nd. And then, of course, the final summer date will be here in New York City on September 12th at the Green Room 42. That show has a live stream option. And I keep repeating it because I keep running into people or people in the comments saying, I didn't know you were coming to this particular city or you're having a show in New York. So that's why I keep repeating it. So for those that get annoyed by it, you'll be strong. Villanera. All right, so they're enjoying all the different activities in New Orleans on Real Housewives of Orange County. So they go to, I mean, if you're going to New Orleans, you know that all this voodoo stuff is a part of the culture and a part of like the tourism that happens down there. Part of me wants to go do it, but I also don't play with, and we have to start understanding that voodoo is not dark because along with racism, people have made those things. This is what Sinners, the underlying tones of what you learn from the movie Sinners is telling us. We've been taught because of racism that things that we grew up with in regards to from our lineage in Africa, our religions were turned into something that was dark and evil and demonic and things like that. Okay. And if you go to Portugal, do the Black History Tour. Just saying, it will open your eyes. It will open your eyes. Anyway, so that's one of the things. If you go to New Orleans, that's a lot of different shops and things like that. So they go to this Lady Bloody Mary, and they go to possibly get a voodoo doll. So one of the running themes that they've been talking about this season is Shannon getting a man. So there's like, maybe the voodoo doll, we can get her a man. Shannon apparently has not had sex with a man since John Jansen. Here's the thing. I don't know if I believe that. I think she's just saying that because then if she says otherwise, she'll be like, who did you sleep with? So I don't know if I believe that. But at the same time, very possible. Women are not very willy-nilly like that when it comes to their sex lives and things like that. I know that about women. I appreciate that about women. But at the same time, I don't know if I believe Shannon Bedore. Okay? Because you know there's going to be a lot of questions. Okay? Anyway, so they go to this voodoo shop and they're going to participate in the ceremony. So a couple of the women are like, yeah, I'm not cool with this because the lady that's there, Bloody Mary, she's just like, well, you can't sit here and be spectators. And they're like, oh, fine. So they end up leaving. So who ends up leaving? Gretchen ends up leaving because she's very religious. Tamara leaves and Shannon ends up leaving. I'm actually surprised at Shannon because Shannon's in all to the crystals and things like that. I guess she didn't want to. I don't know. Would I have participated either? I don't know. I don't think I would have went into the shop, to be honest. Unless it was like I've done my homework on it. This felt a little touristy as opposed to authentic. I'm not saying that it's not, but this felt a little bit more touristy and more gimmicky than authentic. Just saying. All right. So they end up leaving. And which, mind you, Tamara doesn't have a great relationship with Shannon or Gretchen. But this is where Tamara decides to drop the bomb that she had heard from bloggers that Katie Ginella was meeting with Kiki Monique and trying to spread the story that she heard from Gretchen that Tamara tried to roofie her. And Gretchen she's like, what? And this is where Shannon's just like, see, she is terrible. She's doing these things, blah, 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 blah. All right. I just feel like Shannon is really grasping at straws here. She wants to have an issue with Katie. It doesn't look good for you, Shannon. I do think that Shannon probably should have, at least next season, take next season off. I know she's not going to want to because it's the 20th season. However, I do think that Shannon needs to take a break. And she probably should have taken the break this season. But I also understand she just paid John Jansen, $65,000. A lot of these housewives don't have the money that you think that they have. But I think we kind of know that with Shannon. Because she's been pretty open about, she's not rich, she's got to work, she's good. And I know some of these housewives get offended when bloggers say that, yeah, I'm not saying that she should be fired, but that is subsequently being fired because they need this check. But my thing is, you guys, I hope you're not relying on this particular check because at any given particular point, Bravo could be like, yeah, we're going in a different direction next season. Look at the Valley. All those, not the Valley, Vanderpump Rules. Those folks are now destitute. They're like desperate, looking for ways to make money because they relied on that Bravo check. You see some of these housewives will leave the show and they're desperate. They're doing all kinds of things, housewives cruises and this and that, all these different promos because they rely so heavily on that Bravo check. Just saying, multiple streams of income are important. But there's also some of them, like Vicky Gunvalson, who don't need the Bravo check, but need the Bravo world. So in her head, she's just like, I need to be here. I started this. It's more about the attention, not necessarily about the money for Vicky. It's actually really sad, especially now that I've delved into and I'm seeing more behind the scenes stuff and I'm learning more about. I'm just like, this is sad. This is very, very sad, especially because these housewives do not get residuals. So when we talk about the reality TV reckoning, that was a bigger conversation that people weren't realizing. And I know they were all like, oh, they wanted to be on Andy's side because they were hoping that would secure their next season of whatever city they're in. But at the end of the day, what Bethany was talking about, yes, she was talking about some of the things that happen on these shows, but she was also talking about residuals. And can you imagine? I mean, I still think very much like Vicky, who doesn't need the money, people like Nene, if they were getting residuals from all these years of being on Housewives, please understand there's certain things that they would not be doing right now. Yes, they might still want to be on the show and want that Bravo check because who knows what the residuals will even look like for being just being talent. But now that they have the Peacock streaming and things like that, it's still a check. Just saying. Right now, they receive nothing. While Andy Cohen is collecting millions off the residuals of this show that's seen around the world. I just want to paint that picture for you. I know a lot of you will be like, well, that's what they signed up for. But is that right? Because please understand, some of these sitcoms that we're watching and rewatching over the years, especially the ones that do very well, those residual checks are nice. Some of those residual checks, these talents live off of that. And that's why you haven't seen them for years. Because they're like, I live off my residuals. I'm good. Not all residuals are that great. I will say that. However, for those that do well, the constant replaying of this around the world, that's a nice little check. Just saying. I just feel like it is unfair when we think about, and it's because of the way that this particular system is set up, that reality television is not considered what like a TV sitcom is considered. It's considered more like documentary. So, but anyway, I've digressed. Okay. So they're out there. So that she spills that tea to Gretchen, and Gretchen has a big reaction. She's like, "Oh my God, I did not come back here for this." All right. So later on, when they go back and they're getting ready for dinner, Gretchen brings this information to Katie, and Gretchen apparently had a conversation with Slade, and Slade was like, "Are you really going to believe Tamara?" Which I understand where he's coming from because Tamara is not trustworthy. However, let's be honest, some of the information, although she's been sitting on this information conveniently, didn't mean that it wasn't true information, at least what we've gotten so far this season. She may have been sitting on the information, but is the information true? The recording was true, even though Katie originally denied it. And I think Katie is actually, I wouldn't say she's necessarily a good liar, but I think she is probably a better liar than most. So her reaction, I'm sort of like, I don't know if I believe her. Guys in the live chat, and for those that are watching the replay, do you believe that Katie actually did say that Gretchen said to her that that Tamara roofied her from the White Girl Wasted episodes from years ago? I believe Gretchen. I believe Gretchen did not tell her that, to be honest with you. Based on what I've seen so far of Gretchen, I don't see her to be necessarily a liar. At least not like Katie. We've caught Katie in multiple lies. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? The interesting thing, though, with this situation, they all go to dinner. It goes left really quickly, and you can tell because during the conversation with Tamara and Shannon and Gretchen, Tamara talks about the issues that she's had with Shannon, and she was like, this is why I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not drinking as much anymore. And watch, during this trip, you're not going to see me drink at all. I will say, they do bring up the fact that Tamara says, I was just here a few weeks ago with Bronwyn and Teddy before she was diagnosed with all these multiple cancers. So they put that out there, or at least Tamara puts that out there. So when Tamara comes to dinner, she seems like off. Like her eyes are dimmed and she definitely doesn't seem lucid. So Shannon's sort of like, you just told me that you weren't going to be drinking or and here you are. So who knows? It could have been a multitude of things that she mixed with, like alcohol or pills. I don't know. But before we even get to the fight with Tamara, Gretchen brings up the accusation. And Katie's like, I never said that. That did not happen. Fine. And so Tamara pulls Gretchen to the side to have a conversation with her. And she's just like, like, what's going on? Did you bring it up to her? Blah, blah, blah. And that's when, I believe, I can't remember everything else, but at one particular point, they're all out there, both Gretchen, Katie, and Tamara. And she's like, I can't believe, because Gretchen's basically saying, like, I don't know what to believe here. So Tamara's sort of like, so you believe Katie? Why wouldn't she believe Katie? She doesn't have a great relationship with you, Tamara. So Tamara goes back to the table and she's like, she believes Katie. And everyone's like, what? And then we have Shannon have this big reaction. She's like, I forgot what she said. But her reaction was so forced. And even Heather Dubrow in her confession was like, Shannon could be like a dog with a frisbee. She will not let it go. I think Shannon, all these theatrics for Katie, I get it. Katie recorded you. I'm not saying that was cool, but it does feel forced. It does feel like you're grasping at straws to have an issue with Katie when you don't need to have an issue with Katie. I can understand you being blindsided and the fact that you were supporting her when everyone else wasn't supporting her, but it feels forced, in my opinion. I'm not saying that you're not entitled to your feelings. What I'm saying, it feels forced. It feels unnecessary. It feels like you can't even have a baguette with the lady. It'd be different if you went with her and you hung out with her, but if something else came up, then I can understand the reaction. But from earlier in the day, you didn't even want to be around her. It's like, come on, you can have a baguette. You're going to be on the show with the woman. If you can film with Tamara, you can film with Katie. Because Katie never dropped the tape. Let's just say that. Katie did not drop the tape. I mean, I don't think Katie will drop the tape because it will be clear who had it. So I don't know. I don't think it's not something that you can't get over, but she's making it seem like she can't get over it. So Shannon has that big reaction. So they're fighting at the table about this. But then, of course, Jenn wants to bring up the fatty photo that Tamara had brought up to Heather. Okay? And they have their little back and forth, but Tamara's not making sense. Tamara's eyes are dimmed. And Jenn is just like, I'm not going to have this conversation with you because you do not seem yourself right now. And so Tamara is saying off the wall things. And then Gina chimes in and she's just like, I'm the only sober one at this table. And you're being rude to Tamara. She says, you're being rude. And Tamara's just like, she has like flat affect. She's not reacting. She then gets up and goes away. This is when the group finds out that she posts on social media. First of all, you see production checking on her. Are you okay? And she's just like, I want to go home. Here's the thing. And I've said this to you. I'm in a bit of a conundrum. Not really. Tamara's behavior, because she's gaslit these women, she's gaslit the audience before. Like, I've changed, I'm doing all these things. But I do feel like she's using Teddy's diagnosis as her storyline and why she's going through what she's going through. I'm not saying that there isn't a percentage of, yes, this is reality. Teddy really is going through cancer. And I know some people are afraid to say what I'm about to say, but I do feel like she's utilizing it. And all of the theatrics that she gave at that table, the storming out, the production checking on her, then going on social media, being like, I'm out, I quit. I really thought something happened no, I really didn't. I didn't think anything happened because I knew then when she had posted it on social media, I was like, she'll be back. Okay. I don't remember what I exactly said, but what I did say was I'm not convinced that Tamara quit the show, and she didn't. Fast forward. So we see the lead up to it. And based off the lead up, again, we're watching an edited show, but based on the lead up, it wasn't giving, I need to quit the show. If Katie quit the show, I could understand. She's like, here we go again with another pileup. I didn't understand, but maybe because she was allegedly inebriated and that's what motivated her to go and write what she wrote. No, I felt like everything that we saw play out during that dinner with Tamara's behavior was to lean into, I'm in therapy, woe is me, my friend is suffering with cancer. I felt like she's utilizing all that, and I paint the picture as a kid that was faking not feeling well. And anyone that's a parent, or if you were a kid, we all were kids at one particular, the faking behavior, that's what it's giving. Tamara, never become an actress because you're not convincing at all. I hate to say it, but I think we need to say it. Like, I'm really trying to keep an open mind because we clearly do know that Teddy is going through things. Sidebar, Teddy said that she has not filmed at all for season 15 of The Housewives of Beverly Hills. Teddy, I wish you well, but I'm not mad at that. I'm not. I mean, it's very real with what she's going through, but I'm not mad at that. So that's how the episode ends, with Tamara saying, I'm out. Should I call my own Uber? The theatrics. It's the theatrics for me. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that she really was hurt. I'm not convinced that I'm not, and I'm also not saying that she isn't concerned or feelings about Teddy and what Teddy's going through. But I also feel like some of the theatrics that she's giving this season is very performative. The therapy, the healing from therapy, it's the same Tamara behavior. She's still doing the same stuff, even though she keeps saying, I'm on a healing journey. So I'm not 100% convinced. Are you guys 100% convinced? I'm not. But if you had to rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Based off of what I just... Oh, so wait a minute. I mean, let me know how you'd rate the episode. So Gina reveals at the table that Tamara sent her a text about F off. And she's like, why is she mad at me? And so they're all having their own realization about Tamara. Even at one particular point, Heather goes to have a conversation with Tamara. And Tamara is basically shooing her away. And she's like, girl, I'm getting heat for defending you, and you're shooing me away? That's what you get, Heather, because she's fake. She's fake and phony. I mean, some might say that you are too, Heather. Oh, goodness. Was there anything else in this episode that I wanted to cover or talk about? I still would probably give this episode like a 6. I don't want to give it a 7. I mean, I might lean on a 7, 6.5. It wasn't terrible, but it hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. Because we still have a bunch of people on this show that probably should no longer be on this show. And Gina and Emily sort of twerking on the fence when it comes to what's going on with Tamara. They're trying to bring Tamara back into the good graces with Gretchen and Shannon and things like that. And it seems like Shannon wants to make sure that she still has Jenn on her side when it comes to Tamara and what's going on over there, but only for Shannon to be the one to be mending fences with Tamara. But things between Jenn and Tamara are still up in the air, which I don't blame Jenn. Yes, she might be harping on the fatty picture or whatever, even though she wasn't fat in that picture. She might be harping on that, but there's just so many things that Tamara has said and done that were dangerous towards what Jenn is going through. That, yeah. So, a couple of updates. Katie Ginella blocked me. Woo! Whoa! Shake the table. Whoa! Oh my gosh, my world is crushed. Katie blocked me. Katie, I didn't know who you were before the show, and I won't care who you are after the show. And as I always say, I've been blocked by better, Anita Baker. Whatever. Anyway, guys, again, don't forget the Kempire After Dark, The Villain Era is coming to Washington, D.C. a week from today. Have you gotten your tickets? Let me know if you've gotten your tickets or if you're going to get your tickets. Let's sell out this show per usual so I will come back to D.C. Just saying. Y'all forget that this is a business. These venues are not going to want to just host these meet and greets with us if you're not going to show up and sell out. They want us to sell out. So if you want me to come back to Washington, D.C., sell out this show and prove a point like you normally do, okay? That also has to do with the pace of selling too, guys. You know, we can't be selling out on the day of. Like, come on, we need to be selling out the week we announce. Come on. Anyway, I appreciate all of you that have come to the Philly show, the Atlanta show, those of you that are coming to DC. Don't forget, on September 12th, we will be having our New York City show. It will be the final of our summer tour. So go get your tickets today. That show has a live stream option. So anyone from everywhere around the world can watch it for a week. But you have to buy your tickets before. So don't try and buy your tickets the day after. It won't be available. Have you guys liked the video yet? Why not? Don't forget you can hear an audio version and extended versions of the Kempire YouTube channel and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today and don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And don't forget Club Kempire, the paid podcast subscription on Apple. And we just dropped a new episode where I spill a lot of tea there. We talk about the White Lotus. We talk about Hunting Wives. We talk about a lot of stuff that I don't talk about anywhere else. And sometimes I spill some tea. So I haven't spilled the exclusive Washington, D.C. tea that I'm going to be bringing to that show. But maybe in between the Washington, D.C. show and the September 12th New York City show, I will spill it on Club Kempire. Subscribe today. There's a free 3-day trial, and you can either pay month by month or you can pay for the year and save a couple of dollars, more than a couple of dollars, like $10. All right, guys. I will see you all in the next one. Have a great rest of your Friday. I will see you for our Real Housewives of Miami recap later on today, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. PST. Keep liking the video if you haven't already. Replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts, where you're watching from, and how you would rate this week's episode as well. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Friday. I will see you guys later. Bye, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. As always, you can hear Kempire on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. More information can be found on KempireRadio.com.